Welcome to my channel.
My girlfriend collapsed in Vegas and was rushed to the ER. Doctors said she's 5 weeks pregnant, but I had a vasectomy. Then the truth hit me like a truck. You know how every group trip starts with high hopes and way too much tequila? That was us, me, Kayla, and 4 of our close friends, touching down in Vegas like we were 22 again. No kids, no baggage, just a weekend of fun and forgetting. She looked amazing. Sundress, oversized shades, that laugh she does when she's trying not to snort in public. I remember thinking, God damn, I love this woman. It had been a weird few months, tense dinners, distance I couldn't explain, but this weekend felt like a reset button, like maybe we still had it. We hit the strip, half drunk by 4 p.m. Kayla kept it low-key. No shots, no cocktails, just water and that one blood orange spritz she nursed for 2 hours. I teased her for going soft. She blamed the sun. I didn't push. She gets weird in heat. Headaches, low energy. No big deal. The real red flag? She was quiet, not bored or annoyed, just thoughtful, distant. At brunch the next morning, she pushed her eggs around the plate while the rest of us recapped drunk karaoke and blackjack fails. She was late, like late, period-wise. So naturally someone made a joke. Kayla's glowing. She pregnant or just hungover? Everyone laughed, including me. I even tossed out, if she's knocked up, I want a damn DNA test. I had a vasectomy. I've got the receipts. More laughs. Kayla smirked but didn't say much. Just sipped her coffee and said, wouldn't that be something? I should have caught that line. Filed it under things you notice later when your life's on fire. But I didn't, because I trusted her. And I trusted my body. Anyway, we're walking back to the hotel in the early afternoon, sun frying the pavement, when Kayla just stops. Knees buckle, out cold. Cue chaos. Paramedics, flashing lights, me running through all the worst-case scenarios in my head. We end up in a Vegas ER, the least romantic place on earth. Her hooked to IVs, pale and sweaty and out of it. Nurse comes in with the kind of smile that feels loaded. She's okay, just dehydrated, but we also ran some routine labs. Okay, she's pregnant, around 5 weeks. I laughed. Actually laughed. Sorry, what? The nurse just nodded, like this happened every Tuesday. I sat there stunned while Kayla blinked at me, mouth open like she couldn't figure out what language we were all speaking. What? I didn't know what to say. I just kept hearing the same phrase in my head on loop. 0% probability. 0% probability. 0% probability. I had a vasectomy. I still pull out, for God's sake. I've read the stats, signed the forms, gotten the follow-up tests. I was done. And yet, she was pregnant. And just like that, the trip was over. We weren't in Vegas anymore. We were in limbo. The ride back to the hotel was dead silent. She sat beside me in the Uber, chewing her thumbnail, eyes fixed on something outside the window that probably wasn't even there. I stared straight ahead, arms crossed, heart in my throat. I didn't ask anything. Not yet. I didn't trust my voice to come out calm or sane. Back in the room, she sat on the bed and said it out loud for the first time. I'm pregnant. It sounded even more absurd when she said it. I leaned against the dresser, arms still crossed. Yeah, that's what the nurse said. I don't, her voice cracked. I don't understand. I haven't. She didn't finish the sentence. Didn't need to. We just stared at each other. She looked so small, like the sentence had taken something out of her. And maybe it did. Maybe it took the illusion we were still in the same story. I sat down hard. Kayla, I had a vasectomy. Not like last week, 2 years ago in the post-op check. 0 motile sperm. 0. I know, she whispered. I mean, I even still pull out. Like an idiot. You think that's just a reflex? No, that's trauma from being a broke 20-something with a fear of fatherhood. That made her laugh. Just barely. But I didn't. I was unraveling. I'm serious. This isn't supposed to be possible. I know, she said again, almost like it hurt. So what does that mean? I didn't answer. Because there were only 2 explanations. Either I was the medical freak show of the decade, or someone else had been inside her in the past 5 weeks. You ever feel your gut drop like your insides just gave up on holding it together? That. Right there. Because I didn't want to ask the question. I didn't want to be that guy. But the silence was stretching, sharp as glass. I forced myself to ask. Is there anyone else? Her head snapped toward me. No, Kayla. There isn't, she said, voice shaking now. There's no one. I swear to God. I watched her. She didn't look away. No twitch, no hesitation, no over-explaining. I wanted to believe her. But something in me had already split, not cleanly, like when fabric tears and the threads keep unraveling on both ends. "I'm gonna need a test," I said. I figured. She didn't yell, she didn't cry. Just nodded like she knew it was coming and was already tired of the whole damn story. We flew home the next day. She held my hand in the airport, and I let her. But it felt like holding hands with someone you used to know. Like a familiar shape that no longer made sense in yours. On the plane, I stared out the window, trying to remember what it felt like to be sure of anything. Home didn't feel like home anymore. Same couch, same fridge, same coffee mugs with dumb quotes, but it all felt hollow. Like someone had swapped out our life for a cheap replica and dared us to pretend we didn't notice. She went to bed early that first night back. Said she was exhausted. She probably was. I didn't follow. I just sat on the couch with the TV on mute and a beer I never touched, staring at nothing. The walls were closing in. I started replaying everything. The last couple months, her being tired all the time, canceling dinner plans, turning her phone face down when it buzzed. Was that new? Had it always been like that, and I just didn't give a shit before? God, I hated that version of me. The one looking for clues. The one connecting dots in places that maybe even have dots. But the thing is, once you open that door, you can't unopen it. You start seeing things you didn't mean to see. You start hearing things in silence. I ordered the paternity test the next morning. Non-invasive prenatal. Swab for me, blood for her. Not cheap, but cheaper than dragging this hell out for another 6 months, wondering if I'm about to raise some other dude's kid. I didn't tell her right away. I wanted to, but every time I looked at her, she looked like someone grieving. Grieving the trust we'd lost. The future we'd broken. The way I now looked at her like she might be a stranger in my bed. That afternoon she came out of the shower, towel around her head, and caught me watching her. "You've got that look," she said. "What look?" "Like you don't know me anymore." I didn't answer. She sighed. "Just ask whatever it is." So I did. "When's the last time you were with someone else?" Her whole body flinched like I'd hit her. "Jesus, Liam," she whispered. "That's not fair. Answer the question." "There is no answer. I haven't. I wouldn't. But you could have," I said, "and that's the problem, isn't it? This isn't math anymore. This is trust. And trust doesn't come with lab results." She left the room. I didn't follow. I stayed on the couch again. We were two people sharing a house and avoiding the only question that mattered. What if the truth already happened and now we're just waiting for the paperwork? I started Googling stories like ours. Post-vasectomy pregnancies, recanalization, sperm ghosts, rare cases, medical anomalies. Most stories ended in disbelief. A few ended in DNA tests like mine. And the ones that didn't? Yeah, they ended in breakups. Kayla and I weren't talking much after that. We ate in the same room, watched the same TV, slept in the same bed, but everything felt suspended, like we were waiting for something to drop from the ceiling and shatter what was left. And we both knew what it was. 0% probability. Or so I thought. The box with the test arrived on a Tuesday. Plain packaging. Nothing dramatic. But to me, it might as well have been a time bomb with a 14-day timer strapped to it. Kayla opened the door when it came. She saw the return label and didn't say anything. Just placed it on the kitchen counter like it was a normal piece of mail. Then she went back to whatever show she was half watching on the couch. I stood there staring at it for a long time. Couldn't bring myself to touch it. Later that night, I brought it up. Not accusatory, just factual. "I'm taking the test tomorrow. You'll need to go in for the blood draw." She didn't look away from the screen. "Okay. That's it? Just okay?" "What do you want me to say?" she asked, finally turning toward me. "That I'm offended? Hurt? That it kills me you don't believe me? Because yeah. All of that." "But you'll still do it?" "Yes," she said, "because I want to believe you'll come back to me when this is over. I want proof to be enough for you." That shut me up. We did the swab the next day. She scheduled the blood draw like it was a dentist appointment. Cold, routine, detached. I wanted to ask her if she hated me, if she cried when I wasn't around, if she still pictured us making it through this. But I didn't ask, because if she said no to any of those things, I didn't want to hear it. The 2 weeks that followed were the slowest in my life. We became polite, mechanical, like roommates with good manners and bad timing. We passed each other in the hallway like we were avoiding landmines. I think the only time we touched was when I handed her the remote. There were moments, brief, flickering moments, where she'd look at me like she was about to break. Not with anger, but something worse. Sadness, that quiet kind. The kind that just sits in someone's chest, heavy as grief. And once, just once, I saw her standing in the hallway in the dark. I don't think she knew I was awake. She was holding her phone, scrolling through pictures of us, laughing, hugging, drunk selfies in hotel rooms, one from the beach where her eyes were shut mid-laugh, and my arm was wrapped tight around her waist like I never wanted to let go. That picture hurt, because all I could think was, when did it start to slip? When did we stop being us? I didn't ask her about it. I just rolled over and pretended to sleep. The next morning, she made me coffee. I told her thanks. She smiled like a stranger. We were both hanging on by paper threads, just waiting for a number. Waiting to find out whether we were a rare miracle or a textbook tragedy. Day 11. I was standing in the shower when I started crying. No warning. Just water everywhere. Hot, cold, inside, outside. Tears mixing in like they had a damn right to be there. I didn't even know what I was crying for. For the baby I wanted to love? For the woman I used to trust? For the idiot version of me who thought a scalpel and a signature meant certainty? I didn't tell Kayla. Dried off, shaved, pretended everything was fine. Spoiler, nothing was fine. That night, we finally snapped. It started small. A dumb thing. She'd left the milk out on the counter, and I made some snide comment like, "You're slipping again." She looked at me like I'd slapped her. "Seriously? The milk? That's what we're doing now?" I shrugged. "Just an observation." "No, it's not," she snapped. "It's a jab. It's what you've been doing for weeks now. Death by 1,000 cuts. Quiet judgment. Suspicion. You think I don't feel it every time you look at me like I'm radioactive?" I stared at her, arms crossed. "You want me to pretend like this is normal?" "No," she said. "I want you to remember who the hell I am. I'm Kayla. I'm the person who held your hand through your dad's funeral. Who stayed when you had nothing and still believed in you. The one who never ever gave you a reason not to trust me." I wanted to yell, to tell her how insane this situation was, to scream that statistics and biology and math were all on my side, but all I said was, "Yeah, and now you're pregnant. By me. The guy who's supposed to have a 0% chance." And that's when she broke. She backed away like I'd slapped her with the words. Her face crumbled. "You know what hurts the most?" she said, voice shaking. "Not the test. Not the doubt. The fact that you've already decided what you want to believe. You want it to be someone else's, because then you get to walk away clean. You get to be the victim." I blinked. "That's not true." "It is," she whispered. "Because if it's yours, then you have to look at me and admit that you treated me like shit for no reason." Silence. God, that silence. Day 14. The email came in at 7:42 a.m. Subject line so calm it made me hate it. "Your paternity test results are ready." I didn't open it right away, just stared at my phone like it was daring me. Kayla was still asleep. Her hand rested over her stomach like muscle memory. I sat on the edge of the bed and thought about everything I wanted this answer to fix. Like it could suddenly make the past few weeks unhappen. It couldn't. But I opened it anyway. Probability of paternity, 99.999%. Conclusion: Liam Edwards is the biological father. There it was. Not a miracle, not a mystery, not some lab error or twisted joke. Just 3 lines. She stirred behind me, groggy. "Is that it?" I turned. She saw my face and sat up fast. "Well, it's mine," I said. She stared at me. Nothing in her face moved at first, then her shoulders dropped. Not in relief, like she'd expected it. Like she knew. "I told you," she whispered. I nodded. "Yeah." No fireworks, no kisses, no hugging it out on the mattress like we were in a movie. Just 2 people sitting in a room that had held too many secrets and too little grace. She didn't gloat. She didn't even look satisfied. Just tired. Like she'd been running toward this moment barefoot across broken glass. I didn't know what to say. I'd spent weeks preparing for the opposite result. Practicing speeches in my head about betrayal, custody, goodbye. But now I was the asshole who doubted the mother of his child. The guy who'd needed scientific proof to believe the woman who had never given him a reason not to. I stood up, suddenly needing space, walked out to the kitchen. Sat down at the table with my hands pressed against my temples. It was mine, the kid, the heartbeat, the blurry shape in those grainy ultrasound photos pinned to the fridge. Mine. Kayla came out a few minutes later, barefoot, eyes red. "You're not saying anything." I looked up. "What do you want me to say?" "I don't know. Maybe, sorry for treating you like a liar." Her voice cracked. "Or thanks for carrying my kid while I questioned your every word." I exhaled hard. "I don't know how to say sorry big enough for this." "Then say anything," she said. "Anything honest." So I did. I was scared. Of what? Of being wrong, of being right, of losing you, of becoming a dad when I was so sure that part of my life was locked behind a medical door. She softened. "Just a little? And now?" "I don't know," I admitted. "But I want to figure it out, with you, if you'll let me." Kayla sat down across from me, no smile. But she didn't walk away either, and for the first time in weeks that was enough. Time didn't reset after the test. There wasn't some magical reset button where all the doubt vanished and we went back to who we were before Vegas. That version of us was dead. Or maybe not dead, just gone. Grown out of, like a sweater that used to fit but doesn't anymore, even though you keep trying to wear it. But we stayed. Both of us. That night, after everything came out, we didn't cuddle. We didn't make love. We just laid in the dark, barely touching, hearts too tired to break again. Somewhere around 2 a.m. I rolled over and whispered, "I want to be better." She didn't answer, just reached for my hand under the covers and held it tight. We started therapy. Real therapy. Not just talk it out over wine therapy. A woman named Janelle, soft voice, zero bullshit. She made us dig. Into the resentment, the fear, the baggage we never unpacked from years ago. Turns out this wasn't just about the baby or the test. It was about everything we'd let rot under the surface while pretending we were fine. Kayla told me how alone she felt, how small she'd become trying to convince me she was still trustworthy. She cried when she talked about watching me shut down, like losing me in slow motion. I told her how scared I was, not of her, of fatherhood, of the math not adding up, of how badly I wanted to believe her and how guilty I felt when I couldn't. We worked. God, we worked. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Love is ugly sometimes. It's insecure, it's messy, it breaks you open in places you didn't know existed. But when it's real, you fight. Not out of obligation, but because walking away would hurt more. 7 months later, our daughter was born. Mira. Kayla picked the name. It means miracle in Latin. I almost laughed when she told me. But when I held her for the first time, tiny, red-faced, screaming like she had a story to tell, I got it. She was real, mine, ours. Holding her, everything snapped into focus. The fear, the doubt, the grief. All of it collapsed into something quiet and holy. Something simple. I looked at Kayla in that hospital bed, hair matted, face exhausted, and she smiled at me like maybe, just maybe, she could forgive me. I'm not proud of who I became during all of this. I was cruel, suspicious, cowardly. I let logic outrun love. I let silence become its own form of punishment. But I'm still here. We're still here. Some nights when Mira's asleep on my chest and Kayla's curled up beside me, I think about how close we came to destroying it all, how fast it almost slipped away. But we held on. And sometimes holding on is the bravest thing you can do. Would you treat your partner the same after hearing this shocking news, or believe them at their word? Tell us in the comments. We read every single one. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next video.